Welcome guys to my channel. It's Victor here, and today I want to talk about some saving tips that you can use to save based on your age. Like for example, if you're 30 years old, there's a certain amount you should have saved by the age of 30, 35, like that. And like it keeps progressing up until you're 75, hopefully. So yeah, let's get into it. So I was reading an article online that was talking about your the the older you get, you need to have a certain amount that you should have saved. So if you're 30 years old, you need to have saved a certain amount, like maybe let's say $40,000. If you're 35, you should have saved a certain amount, maybe 60, 70, 80, depending on how much, depending on your income. Your income in this case plays a big role. So it's something that I wanted to share with you guys because this is information that we rarely hear of, and most schools do not teach people how to save. Now, one thing about the whole saving thing, you have to keep track. I've done a video on how to save $10,000 in 1 year, and I spoke about it. I'll link the video in the description box below to just go and listen to it. But based on what I talked about in that video, I'll go ahead and discuss something that is very, very important. That is keeping track of your goal. And this keeping track of your goal entails a certain system that you can come up with to get you to, so that you can see what are some of the do's and don'ts for me to get to my goal. Now, first of all, let me start by saying that if you're at age 30, you need to have saved half of your income, of your salary. So if you make, let's say, $60,000 a year, you should have saved half of that amount, which is $30,000. Is it doable? That's another question that we'll answer. And the whole saving thing will take you to your goal very quickly. Now, here's the thing. Let's say you're 35 years old and you have an income of $100,000. It is recommended that you need to save at least 1.5 times of your income. So 1.5 of, that is, let's say 90,000. If you're trying to get to, let's say, $60,000-$70,000, you also need to save a certain amount that is an amount that you feel comfortable saving. But based on what I was reading, like let's say for example, it says that, for example, a 35-year-old earning $60,000 will be on track if he or she saved about $60,000 to $90,000. I'll also link the website. It's called troyprice.com. It's all about personal investing, savings, and that kind of thing. But it talks about on how to save. It talks about your age versus your income and the amount you should have saved based on your age. It's pretty much that. It's a pretty cool website to take a look at. If, for example, you're 40 years old, how much have you saved if you're 40 years old? If I'm 50 years old, I could say that maybe I want to save like $100,000. But the thing is, do my streams of income allow me to save that amount of money? Because there's no point of saying that, oh yeah, I want to save $1 million and it's not even doable. I don't even have the income and that kind of thing. So we basically want to set goals that are doable. That is one thing. And I said that I'll talk about each age and how it talks and how much you should save. So now we have an assumption that the household income grows at 5% until age 45 and 3% thereafter. So investment returns before retirement are 7% before taxes, and savings grow tax deferred. The person retires at 65 and begins withdrawing 4% of assets. That is at a rate intended to support steady inflation-adjusted spending over 30-year retirement. So saving benchmark ranges from, that is, they're based on individual or couples, with the current household income approximately between $75,000 and $250,000 a year. Now, here's the thing. So if, let's say, an investor's age is 30, you should have saved half of salary saved today. If you're 35, 1 to 1.5 salary saved as of today. If you're 40 years old, between 40 and 45, you should have saved 1.5 to 2.5 times your salary. If you're 45 years old, you should have saved 2.5 to 4 times your salary. If you're 50 years old and above, no, this is interesting, 3.5 to 6 times of your salary. If you're 55, between 55 and 60, you should have saved 4.5 to 8 times of your salary. If you're between the age of 60 and 65, you should have saved 6 times to 11 times of your salary. If you're 65 and above, you should have saved 7.5 to 14 times of your salary. You know, the thing is, now thinking about it like this, is it really doable? Because this will also what will affect the amount that you're saving is your expenses. If you have high expenses, it would be difficult to have a good saving. And if you spend a lot, like, you need to just sit down and look at what you need to cut. Like, I'm always big on that. Get rid of the unnecessary stuff that you don't need, because saving is really, really important. And because it's always good to save for a rainy day, because you never know what can happen. So now, and based on the chart that I've just read to you, there's an assumption that the household starts saving at 6% at the age of 25, sorry, and increases the saving by a 1% rate annually until reaching the necessary saving rates. So this is basically just a benchmark of, if you want to see where you are. Some will save more, some will save less based on your income. Like, I don't expect someone who's in the business field to save the same as someone who is doing a regular job, who's getting a paycheck. Because business entrepreneurship is very different, because it may be up, it may be down. We have instances, like, for example, people who are in the YouTube space, or people who, any kind of business, online business, people who sell physical products, the amount that they save differs from someone who has a regular job, who's receiving a regular paycheck. Someone who gets $5,000 a month will not save as someone who pays who has a business that pays him or her, and this is just pure profit, $30,000, because the expenses are different. So this is something that we are also taking into account. The chart that I just read is basically pure income. These are pure income based people. That is, you get a regular paycheck. Now, do I recommend doing this? Yes, I do. I believe this is a great way to do. And this is what I used to do up until, something came up and I was like, oh, I gotta, start using my savings. But I'm still on track to do this. Like, every cent that I get, I will look at what is the most important thing that I need to do to pay off or to buy, and what will be left, and where can I keep it. Should I save it? And it's always good to have a savings account, and a savings account that will also add interest to your saving, that will also keep money, in your pocket. So basically that's all, guys, and I hope you guys like this kind of content. And if you do, like, share the video, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.